There is a new star rising in the political horizon of New Zealand. A young leader who has dared to speak truth to power, calling out the colonial legacies that continue to haunt Africa even after decades of independence. His name is John Minto, a fresh face in New Zealand politics, and already making waves with his bold stance on issues that affect not just his own country, but also Africa. But why is this young politician taking on such a controversial topic? What drives him to speak truth to power and challenge the status quo? Join me as we delve into the story of John Minto, a young leader with an extraordinary vision for a better future for both New Zealand and Africa. When he addressed the African diaspora in his home country, he boldly stated that most African leaders are puppets, echoing the sentiments of many Africans who feel that their leaders lack the courage to chart their own course and instead follow the path laid out by their colonial masters. But he didn't stop there. He went further to expose the hidden hand that controls these puppet leaders, pointing fingers at none other than New Zealand itself. How did he come to this conclusion? And what evidence does he have to back up his shocking claims? To understand where he's coming from, we need to look no further than his own backyard. New Zealand's historical ties to Africa run deep, and the country's continued involvement in the region's politics is a source of contention for many Africans who feel that their voices are being ignored. One only has to look to the recent past to see examples of New Zealand's influence in Africa. The country's support for controversial leaders and its cozy relationship with some of the region's most repressive regimes have raised eyebrows and sparked outrage among those who believe that New Zealand is more interested in pursuing its own interests than upholding the values of democracy and human rights. Despite the pushback, though, Minto continues to speak out against what he sees as injustice and inequality in Africa. He has called for greater transparency and accountability from African leaders and urged them to prioritize the needs of their people over the demands of their colonial masters. His message is resonating with many young Africans who are fed up with the status quo and want to see real change. They see in Minto a leader who is willing to stand up for what he believes in and fight for justice, even if it means going against the grain. But not everyone is comfortable with Minto's outspokenness. Some critics argue that he is out of his depth on African politics and that his comments are ill-informed and unhelpful. They accuse him of playing to the gallery and grandstanding on an issue he knows little about. However, Minto's supporters argue that his passion and commitment to the cause of justice in Africa are what set him apart from other politicians. They see him as a beacon of hope for a continent that has been plagued by corruption, inequality, and oppression for far too long. Only time will tell whether Minto's efforts will bear fruit and whether he can help usher in a new era of democracy and accountability in Africa. One thing is for sure, though, his voice is an important one that deserves to be heard. His call for transparency and accountability from African leaders is a reminder that even in the 21st century, the legacy of colonialism continues to cast a long shadow over the continent. As we continue to grapple with the effects of colonialism, it is important to remember that true independence can only be achieved when we hold our leaders to account and demand that they chart a new course for our nations. So let us take a page out of John Minto's book and become the generation that finally breaks the chains of colonialism and creates a better future for all Africans. What do you think of this young leader's message? Do you agree that African leaders are still controlled by their colonial past? Or do you think that Minto's views are misguided and unhelpful? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, please don't forget to like and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of our thought-provoking videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. He continued, I was actually quite shocked at how much money New Zealand gives to African countries to build infrastructure, and yet we have very little say in how that money is spent or the projects that are funded. Many Africans watching this video right now nodded their heads in agreement, knowing that this was a sentiment they had echoed for years. He added, It's like we are still living in the days of colonialism, where African leaders were puppets of the West and only served the interests of their colonial masters. This statement hit home hard, reminding many of the struggles their countries had faced since independence from colonial rule. Despite being free on paper, many African countries continued to suffer from the effects of colonialism, such as poverty, inequality, and corruption. The young leader went on to explain that even after independence, many African countries remained dependent on their former colonial powers for aid and investment. which allowed these countries to maintain a strong hold over their economies and their leaders. He said, "We need to find ways to support African countries without undermining their sovereignty and ability to make decisions that are in the best interest of their people." Many viewers commented on the video, expressing their admiration for this young leader's courage and willingness to speak out against injustice. Some viewers shared stories of their own experiences with the effects of colonialism and neo-colonialism in their countries. Others praised the young leader for using his platform to raise awareness about these important issues and called for more young people to get involved in politics and activism. This video has sparked an important conversation about the role of developed countries in supporting developing countries and the need to find new ways to do so that respect the sovereignty and autonomy of African nations. It has also highlighted the ongoing effects of colonialism and the challenges that many African countries continue to face as a result. As the conversation continues, it is important that we listen to the voices of young leaders like this one who are bravely speaking out against injustice and calling for a better future for all of us. If you found this video informative and thought-provoking, please don't forget to like and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of our insightful content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.